A lot of people talk about divisions, everybody should go their way. The truth is that even if we do that, we still need to interact with each other. We still need to do business, even if we are separate countries. So I think we should start thinking, like what forefathers says, we should start thinking about the nation. With regards to what's happening, it's a fight between two people, and they had already been giving us a precursor to what was going on. The president has his interest, the Tinubu group have their interest. Now, I'll give you a roundup of what happened. The president had a media brief. They asked him a critical question: who will be your successor? He made a statement. He said, if I name my successor, they will kill him. I don't know whether I will remember that months ago. The next week, Tinubu made his move and came to him and declared that he's running because Tinubu had sensed that he was not the president's candidate. So, if you look at the build up to this moment, it has been a build up. Before the primaries, the president was just gaslighting everybody, but he had his man, and it was obvious that his man was Osibanjo. But the president now talked to the northern elite governors and said, "I've allowed you guys choose your successor. Allow me choose my successor." They refused him. They told him to hell with him, and that was where we had Emiloko because the Tinubu group was feeling they don't have the president's backing because when the president backs you, he releases the instrument of state to support the incumbency. So Buhari kept aloof, and now Buhari kept everything to his chest. What I see happening here is Buhari's last stand. I call it the last stand of a general. He's creating a last stand. Buhari basically is telling them, I will make my next move. If you realize this monetary change was in between two people, Buhari and the CBN governor. Even the finance minister had no clue what had happened. The ministers didn't have a clue because Buhari is somebody that he's not very savvy. You can read what he wants to do. When they interviewed him, he was very clear. I want to stop vote buying and using it to amass touts to cause violence. He mentioned those two things. And so he's very clear. Yes, it's going to impact the nation. And I don't like the way it's impacting the nation. However, there are two people playing moves on this table. So the the Tinubu group is basically saying, okay, if you will not listen to us, we are going to move external forces to create a problem for your government. What are they doing? They move through the courts, they move through creating skirmishes so that the government looks incompetent. Buhari says, okay, you know what? I don't care what they do in the courts, but I'm going to drag this till the 25th. And that's what is happening. Buhari has checked out, but Buhari is saying, I'm going to give them the last stand. I'm going to move in the army there and I'll see what they will do. So, so we have been seeing the game play. It's just that when two big elephants fight, the grass will generally suffer. So, what I want to appeal to Nigerians, especially in the south and some parts of the north, is we don't need to play into their game. If you realize Obi has focused on his campaign because this is the last stretch. And based on the polls, I mentioned it when we started discussing on this. I said a few factors determine Nigerian elections. One, the Council of States, who are mostly generals. If those generals come to an elite consensus, then they will make a move. I believe they have done that. It's very clear, their elite consensus. They have to look at the population's consensus. And those factors are beginning to show in this election. And like I said, my only concern in this election is INEC. If INEC is compromised, then the problem. And that's why the president is taking a last stand, because he believes, I believe the president believes that INEC may be compromised, the judiciary may be compromised. They are ready to influx money into the system. And the only way to smoke the rat out of the house was what the president did, to create a system where the money comes into that banking system and he chokes their money on the ground. If not, there's no way he can't go ahead of them. So all this play must happen. You will notice after 25th, this thing will not be a problem. The question is, how does the media and these polls condition the mind of Nigerians for the result that is coming? If it's an OB result, I think the nation will be peaceful. If it's not an OB result, there's going to be real issues. So these are the things that the powers that be, Nigerians must begin to discuss and say, if the OB doesn't get the result, we need to find legal means for a right election. But based on what you showed as the current as a poll, I want to agree with that. I think that is close to what I think is going to happen in terms of the allocation of voting. I think that based on, I've done averages of all these polls, based on what is on the ground, based on the permutations of people, that is what is going to happen. And it's going to be a very tight election, but I think Obi may win it narrow. It will be a narrow win if, like I said, if INEC plays their game. And I think that's why the president is releasing an army in Lagos, because that is an election that will turn. And there are a lot of going issues already in that space. I yield my mic now.
All right. Thank you, Sydney. Thank you so much.